to glory. That will be the greatest scene in golf forever, Jim Nance.
Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship.
Hey everybody, Mike Bachman here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bach, and I have a special guest here again for you today. Good friend of mine. He's the host of the podcast Talking Big Blue with JQ, where he talks all things New York Giants. Bring him in right now, Jack Quartararo. Man, it's good to see you. How are you?
Mike Bachman, how we doing, bro? It's good to see you too. I know we're not face-to-face right now, but Zoom's the best we got. But, man, how you doing, bro? I'm just going to start off with that.
Yeah, everything's good, man. You know, we are hunkered down here and just taking it day by day. But, doing the podcast now, no longer at school, but now doing it this way. It's been good so far, and I appreciate you taking some time here to join me.
Dude, anything I can do to talk sports, man, especially with whoever, especially you, bro, too. Like, just getting the chance to talk sports. Bro, I'm ready. Let's get right into the discussion, man, because this is a big week for me.
Yes, it is, and I appreciate all the well wishes. And you being a diehard Giants fan, a lot of storylines happening. But I just want to wait for a second before we actually get into the draft, because I want to get your thoughts on free agency. The Giants made a decent splash, maybe not necessarily cash wise, but they signed a lot of players in free agency. So I just want to get your thoughts. You know, how would you grade the Giants free agency in the offseason?
So no superstars, right? No one like that pops out at you like a Clowney or a Byron Jones. But Mike, honestly, I'm very happy with that. I just felt like Dave Gellman and Joe Judge, they got a lot of pieces for the team. No one's like an all-star type talent guy, but they just got a lot of fill-in and type role players who can be day one starters, obviously, but also just fill in at multiple positions. You know, you got James Bradbury at cornerback. You got what's his name, Dion Lewis from the Tennessee Titans now with running back. So it's going to give Saquon a couple blows here and there. He's not going to have to carry the workhorse all the time and stuff like that. So it's going to be great for him to get a couple plays rest and stuff like that. They picked up the offensive tackle Fleming. I forget his first name, but Fleming from the Cowboys. So I'm just really happy with a lot of their free agent signings, man. But overall, great. I'd probably give it a B. Nothing crazy. I did want a guy like Clowney and Byron Jones. I actually did want Clowney a lot because I was like, oh, maybe if Chase Young drops, it can be Clowney and Chase Young on both sides of the defensive end. So, but, you know, I'm happy, man. I'm happy with the pieces they got.
Yeah, solid signings and definitely a fresh start for the Giants. Obviously, with Joe Judge, it's the Daniel Jones era, looking to get Saquon back on track as well. So there's a lot of hope for this New York Giants squad, and we'll see where it goes. But now, obviously, a lot of work to do in the draft. They have the number 4 spot. There's been a lot of speculation and discussion of the Giants possibly trading down and trading back a little bit for that number 4 spot. And they're in an interesting position because they have the Detroit Lions as well at number 3, who are kind of in the same scenario, looking to trade down. I believe that the Giants will remain firm at the number 4 spot. I do think that the Lions will ultimately trade down and they'll get the better half of that deal. But ultimately, what do you think the Giants will do with this pick?
So honestly, Mike, I agree with you too. I think since the Lions have the 3rd pick, I think they're going to beat the Giants to it, and they're going to trade back before the Giants get the chance. Because once the Lions trade back, I don't think the Giants are going to have a lot of opportunities to trade back. So I think they're going to stick with the 4th pick. I think they're going offensive tackle. I hope they go offensive tackle. I know Isaiah Simmons is probably going to be on the board, but I think once the Lions trade back, Mike, I think it's a done deal. The Giants are staying at 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. And as we said, Isaiah Simmons, he's a freak of nature out of Ohio State. And, you know, I was going to ask if you, knowing how deep this class is, because it's one of the deepest classes we've seen in recent years. I mean, whether it's offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, I mean, it's going to go down over the next couple of days. But the Giants, you know, with a guy like Isaiah Simmons and what he could bring immediately to a defense, for the Giants defense that has been garbage over the past couple of years, but even with an offensive line, I mean, you have Nate Solder. He has not worked out at all for the Giants on the outside. They bring in Kevin Zeitler. He's added some hope on the inside, but it's all about protecting Daniel Jones and creating holes for Saquon Barkley. So I do think that offensive line is the smart move here, and I definitely think it's a safe move here because there's a lot of offensive linemen that will go in this first round. So who do you have on the board for the number 4 pick for the Giants?
So, like I said, like you were talking about, Isaiah Simmons, he's an all-pro type talent. You see him just playing at Clemson, and You got Chase Young at Ohio State. I don't think he's going to drop. I really want him to drop Mike, but he's not going to. It breaks my heart that he's not going to be there for the Giants. But with the 4th overall pick, man, I got to go with Jedrick Wills out of Alabama, the right tackle, or I'm going with Andrew Thomas out of Georgia, the left tackle. I know Solder's at left tackle, but Jedrick Wills is a guy who protects Tua Tagovailoa's blind side. So he could play left tackle. He said he is, open to moving to left tackle. So it's not going to be too much of a change for him. But a guy like if they draft Andrew Thomas, he's going to be playing left tackle. There's no moving him to the other side of the line. Because I've heard this on a bunch of reports. It's like if you're an offensive tackle and you try to move from left tackle to right tackle or right tackle to left tackle, it's like learning how to walk all over again, Mike. So I'm going with Wills or Thomas. I love Wirfs. I love Becton, but I don't know, man. Becton just failed the drug test too, his combine drug test. So that's something to look at. I don't know if he'll drop a lot, but I don't know. Dude, I think it's Wills for me. Everyone's been on this Wills train. A lot of Giants guys on Twitter are riding on the Wills train, and I'm all in with them, man.
I agree. I also had Wills on my board, and I also had Becton in there as well. But that was before the drug test came back, and there's obviously some issues there possibly. But, I mean, both guys, very talented athletes, and Willis had a great career at Alabama. And, I mean, even you look at both guys, Willis and Becton. I mean, Becton 6'7", 364 pounds. The guy is an absolute beast and a powerhouse. And even Jedrick Willis is, in his own right, extremely athletic with how big he is. So it's all about protecting the future, giving Daniel Jones enough time, and, again, creating those holes for Saquon, because that is the future of that Giants team and the offense. Right. The biggest possible storyline surrounding this draft is the debate between Tua and Justin Herbert. Who would you rather value? I mean, both are going to be future franchise cornerbacks. Obviously, there's a lot of concern revolving Tua's durability and his health. Where do you think these two will fall, and who goes first?
All right. So personally, I like Justin Herbert better than Tua. I know a lot of people don't. People may hate on me for saying this, so you may see that backlash on your comments and stuff like that. But I just like the big arm, like 6'6" type quarterback. I know Tua's a smaller guy, but just coming off that hip injury, man. Like they said I saw reports on Twitter. That's a very similar injury that Bo Jackson had. And granted, don't get me wrong, technology and all surgical operations are different nowadays. I'm no expert, obviously, but I don't know, man. I like Herbert better. I just think he's going to be, in the long run, he'll be there longer for a team. But, bro, everyone loves Tua, man. All these reports I see, everyone has Tua still going in the top 5. Every time I make a mock draft, Mike, he still is. Tua is still landing in the top 5 every single time. So it's going to be very interesting to see. A team may trade up for him, or he may slip. We saw Johnny Manziel a couple of years ago. I know it's a different story, but he dropped all the way to like the 20th pick or 22nd pick. And he landed in Cleveland, so we all saw how that ended up with him. But it's going to be interesting. Overall, I like Herbert. I still think Tua goes before Herbert, though, because Herbert has that little decision-making problem. I saw a funny tweet last night. I think you'll get a kick out of it. They said Herbert has more difficulty reading a defense than Mitchell Trubisky does. So that's an interesting take right there. But I think it's all going to come down to the end of the day who gets on a better team, like who gets on a more developed team at the end of the day, because you never know what the Dolphins can do with these first 3-round picks here. They can build a good team around them, or who knows, they could trade and get some other pieces. I'm very interested, Mike. I think, but overall, answer your question. Sorry to get off a little topic, but to answer your question, Tua's going off the board before Justin Herbert. What do you think?
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think Justin Herbert's going to go before Tua, but I like both guys. And I know when the college football season first started, everyone had Justin Herbert as their top guy, right? But then obviously Joe Burrow exploded. Chase Young is the best player in this draft class. But Justin Herbert is obviously a lot taller than Tua is, and he's much more durable. He's extremely athletic, can move and make plays in and out of the pocket. Tua's hip injury obviously is something that shouldn't be overlooked. When you get a hip injury like that, it's nothing to joke around, and it's extremely tough to monitor. So, I mean, it's all going to be about which team takes the risk. I mean, you look at the Chargers and the Dolphins that are in the prime spots at 5 and 6. Who's going to trade up possibly from the Lions or even the Giants for that matter? But I think that Justin Herbert will go first. And I think the Dolphins will get him. And I don't know if Tua is a sure lock for the Chargers. Anthony Lynn has been outspoken about Tyrod Taylor and his support for Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, I mean, had a decent career in Buffalo. He doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, he doesn't passing yards, I think, is one of the not most non-important statistics for a quarterback in the league. But nonetheless, he takes care of the ball, and he's a two-way quarterback. He can scramble, and with the Chargers having a garbage offensive line last year, he won't have any problem, even though they did bring in a lot of guys to try and beef up that line. I think Tua has a chance of falling. It's going to be interesting to see what teams in the middle of the draft, if they do decide to trade up, if he's available. I look at the Raiders, for example. I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 9. Are they really going to roll with Gardner Minshew as their starting quarterback? I don't think that they should. I mean, Minshew is a great story. Obviously, he's a great marketing person, has a great personality for the Jaguars, but is he in their long-term plans? I don't know if it's the smartest thing. So if Tua falls, a lot of people are saying he's going to be the left-handed version of Drew Brees if he does stay healthy. But that's the question, if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a franchise quarterback and lead teams to Super Bowls. But it's all going to be about who takes the risk. And I think that Justin Herbert, teams that are playing safe, I think Herbert's the safe pick here. And I'm not so sure how quick teams are going to be to pick Tua.
No, Mike, I agree with you. I think that's because, as you probably saw on Twitter and stuff, Tua failed a couple teams' physicals. So that takes him off immediately off their boards on their drafting scout board. So that's something always interesting to look at. I just think, like you said, man, I think Tua is very good. I think he could be a franchise quarterback, absolutely. But you got to put that kid behind the right offensive lineman that's going to protect him because, God forbid, man, you never want to wish an injury. But let's say something happens to Tua and he gets hurt again. What are you doing? Who's your backup quarterback? You got to start thinking of all this and stuff like that. So I think if a team like the Chargers does take him, they do have Tyrod Taylor to rely on that, like who is a guy who's played in the NFL for multiple seasons. They've seen what he can contribute to a team. So God forbid Tua goes down for the Chargers if he gets drafted there. You do have that backup in Tyrod Taylor who can lead an NFL team. But, Mike, man, it's going to be so interesting. There's so many good quarterbacks. Like you said, Burrows is the top guy. I know you're saying Herbert, but for some reason I just feel like Tua for some reason is going to go before Herbert. It's so weird. I don't know why I keep thinking this, but I love Herbert, and everyone disagrees with me. But it's gonna be honestly, man. I just can't wait, dude. Mike, I can't wait. Like you said with Gronk today, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. I thought the guy was done, but here he comes.
I agree, but I mean, everybody's so hopped up on Gronk now. Like, yeah, he's joining Brady down in Tampa. I mean, when it all comes down to it, at the end of the day, Gronk's 32 years old. If you look at pictures of him, he's lost a lot of weight. He's gonna have to bulk up again. And he's been battered in the league. It's obviously been well documented. How much of an impact is he really going to make in a Buccaneers system that doesn't use tight ends? O.J. Howard has such potential in this league, but was never utilized in the Buccaneers offense. And Bruce Arians in his offenses has never really utilized their tight ends. So I don't know how much of an impact Gronk is going to make down there.
Mike, I agree with you because with Bruce Arians, he's a guy that you saw with O.J. Howard, he never got used a lot, or he never got used the right way. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think Howard's going to be a trade option come draft day. I really think he is. Wow, I mean, the draft's 2 days away. I almost forgot about it. But I think O.J. Howard, he's on the move, man. I think Gronk, I don't know what they're going to do with him, bro. Who knows? Maybe they'll spread him out wide and make him just like a big wide receiver. And like you said, bro, he lost a lot of weight. He hasn't been working out. They said ever since the WrestleMania match, he's been working out in Tampa, I guess, or something like that. I saw. I may be a little wrong, but he's got 5 or 6 months now to get back in shape and start training. But dude, he did an interview, Mike, after the Super Bowl, like a week or two later, and he said he took a hit to the quad, like this in the second quarter or the third quarter of the game. He said he couldn't feel his leg the rest of the game. He said he's like, I'm so done with football. I'm so happy. Like I had a great career. Like I'm happy I'm retiring. Like I don't need to come back to the game. And then here he comes. It was probably like him and Tom Brady's like, hey, man, you want to, one more try. Gronk, come on. And Gronk's like, what do you think, man? You think we could pull it off? One more Super Bowl run? And Brady's like, hell yeah. And then Gronk's like, all right, let's do it. And that was it. But now the Patriots get a 4th-round pick because of that. So I think Bill Belichick's a smart man for that one. They getting a 4th-round pick for a retired player. Doesn't seem like much, but this is a very deep draft this year, Mike. And who knows? They could pick up a stud receiver, a big-name tight end, a safety. You name it, bro. There's so many deep, valuable positions this year in the draft.
You do have your podcast, Talking Big Blue with JQ. You talk everything New York Football Giants. And I've also seen that you've been writing for the Empire Sports Media, haven't you?
Yeah, dude. I just started up with them. Alex, the CEO, I got in touch with him and one of his partners, Anthony Rivardo. I just did an episode with him yesterday. that'll be out later tomorrow or whenever I finish my homework first, obviously, because this is crunch time, Mike, for both of us. This is coming up on finals week, so all the last-minute assignments and the final presentations are due. But it's been awesome, man. I love it, dude. I love writing these articles. It's like really the first time I've like dove into like writing and researching like this. So, man, I'm just having a great time. I'm just so thankful for them giving me this opportunity. And they're such big Giants fans too, so it just goes a long way because, you know, I get to talk with them about our favorite sport team and stuff like that. I know we may not be the best team in the NFL. I personally think we're the best team in the NFL because I'm biased like that. But I think we're on the rise, man. I think with Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, hopefully he has that big sophomore year. I know everyone says there's that sophomore year slump, so you just got to hope, man, and pray that, you know, he goes out there and balls. If they have a season, obviously, I think they will. I don't think it'll be a problem. I saw something about them going to Hawaii or something. I saw a report and playing there, but who knows, man? Hopefully just everything gets better. But I actually have some questions for you whenever you're ready.
So, really?
Yeah.
The interviewer's getting interviewed. Let's do it. Let's hear what you say.
So Big Ben coming off Tommy John. We all know that. He got hurt the first game of the season, correct? Literally like halfway through against the Patriots, right? First or second?
Second or third week. It wasn't. They just got absolutely annihilated by the Patriots.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, he got hurt, and you know he's like Eli. He's getting older and stuff like that. I know you probably don't want to hear this, but you don't want to see him go. Do you see them sneaking up in the draft, or maybe drafting a guy in the second round like Jalen Hurts or Jake Fromm if they drop? Would you like any of those two guys? What's your take?
There's a lot of talk. I know a lot of people have Jalen Hurts on their board with the Steelers in the second round. I mean, at the end of the day, Big Ben, people are saying that he's going to come back and he's going to shock the world. I don't see that happening. Tommy John is a surgery that is no joke. I mean, you look at MLB pitchers, and they're never the same when they come back from Tommy John. I don't think Big Ben, I mean, he's getting old. He's still on a 2-year deal. I don't think that they'll draft a quarterback this year. It's just not what the Steelers are known to do. For some reason, they're committed to Mason Rudolph as their backup. Mason Rudolph's never going to be a starting quarterback in this league. For one, when they drafted him, he didn't have the ceiling to be. And after last year, I mean, what happened with the Browns and then getting laid out in the Ravens game in the first couple of weeks, I mean, the kid has had a lot of damage so far, and you know, showed some signs of potential, but he's not going to be a starting quarterback in this league. I don't think the Steelers are going to pick a quarterback in Jalen Hurts or even Jake Fromm for that matter. I think they wait until next year just because Big Ben has a 2-year deal and just, you know, he's a Steelers legend and he has been extremely productive. I hope that he performs well. Obviously last year was a tough year for the entire Steelers. I think a lot of people, I mean, everyone was saying that, yeah, we need to get rid of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, which they had to, but everyone was like, we have James Conner, we got Juju. You know, Juju was never a true number one receiver. Last year was his first whack at it, and obviously, you know, being double covered. He's a great player. He's one of my favorite players in the league. You know, not even just being a Steelers fan, but his personality, everything he brings to the game. He's got swagger. You know, he had to get used to being the number one option with not a clear number two. James Washington has not lived up. Deontay Johnson, I like what I see out of him. I think the Steelers are looking to see him as a possible Antonio Brown-esque player. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think that they pick running back in the second round. There's a lot of great running backs in this league. I mean, I think that they should trust in James Conner. Last year was plagued with injuries, but when he filled in for Le'Veon Bell in 2018, he had 4 straight 100-yard games to have 5 total and had a Pro Bowl season. So I think that they should trust in James Conner, but to add some depth just in case he does get hurt and injuries do become a problem. You look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor or J.K. Dobbins, if they drop to the second round, I mean, that could be a good choice for the Steelers right there. But they do have holes that they need to fill. I don't see them picking a quarterback.
The Steelers don't have a first-round pick, but 1 to 10, how happy are you with Minka Fitzpatrick?
I think the Minka Fitzpatrick trade worked out better than anybody would ever have thought. When they traded for Minka, they obviously needed help on the outside. And, you know, trading a first-round pick, I mean, I had my thoughts about it when it first happened. I mean, Minka was a high prospect when he was in college. I liked what I saw out of him in Miami, and he brought a lot. He brought a lot to the Steelers last year. I mean, he was putting up Defensive Player of the Year numbers in his first couple of weeks with the team. So I think that they definitely get the value from Minka. on the outside, he's obviously a young player, and I think he'll develop into another Pro Bowler on the outside. They needed the help. The Steelers do need help on their defense. They have T.J. Watt. He's a beast. Bud Dupree, I love what I saw out of him last year, kind of a prove-it year. They tagged. It's going to be interesting to see what his market value looks like coming out of next year. But I like the position that the Steelers are in. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they bounce back and what we could see now that Big Ben is back with guys like Juju, guys like Deontay Johnson, and see how much they further develop in their roles. Because with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges in under center last year, I mean, obviously, things weren't going to work out. And I think things worked out in greater favor than we all thought. I mean, the fact that the Steelers were in position for the number 6 seed in the playoffs last year was pretty great under the circumstances that everything they were in. I mean, Duck Hodges didn't even get a invite to the combine and won a few things. I mean, take it as you will, but I think the Steelers will bounce back this year, and we'll see a little bit more potential out of all those guys. And Jack, I just want to thank you for hopping on here and sharing your knowledge and just going back and forth, man. It was awesome. And you guys can check out his podcast, Talking Big Blue with JQ. It's out on all platforms, right?
Yeah, all platforms, man. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all like Stitcher. There's a bunch of like different random podcast apps that I don't even like know about, but I like applied on Buzzsprout and like it gives me like a list of all the things to post to. So it's out there. The main ones are Apple Podcasts that everyone uses and Spotify, so you can find it. But Mike, man, I appreciate you having me on, dude. I love having this conversation, bro, and I just hope the best for your team. Maybe we'll see a huge trade. Maybe you guys trade up. You never know. We'll see what happens, and maybe the Giants will trade back. So, dude, I just want to thank you again for having me on. I love talking sports with you, man, and I just hope you're staying safe and well, man. I know we probably haven't left the house a lot, but it's what it is, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. But thank you so much. I appreciate it, and have fun this week, and we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to try to have fun. We'll see who Dave Gettleman picks. I'll see if I'm having a good time. But thanks once again, Mike. I appreciate it.